Today's topic is yet again going to be Lio's response and what he's doing behind the scenes. And this time, thanks to my lovely sources, I can be even more specific with you all. With that said, I want you all to take this with a grain of salt, because I can't exactly provide you evidence that he's going to be doing this, just that I have been told this, and I do trust my sources. So think of this kind of like a forecast prediction. I won't be naming any names because I don't want to lose my sources. What Lio is supposedly planning on doing when it comes to the FCK topic and me, in defense of the FCK, is using DMs between me and the FCK members from 2020 in an effort to redirect the conversation and distract people. So instead of just simply outright directly addressing the FCK, he's going to be shifting the topic to me and my intentions by bringing up these DMs between me and the FCK. Most likely the DMs between me and Nezziemonster, as he's working with Doodletones and Nezziemonster behind the scenes right now. This is something that the FCK also did in 2020. The first of the FCK members to do this same tactic to distract away from what I'm talking about and sort of attack my credibility by mentioning my intentions was Fuchsia Butter. In the Twitter thread on June 9th of 2020, he's not doing this because he has anything legitimate to say. He's doing it for fun. This screenshot is from one of his alts he used to spy on my server. Akumu, I tried to let this go, but you're seriously such a disgusting, petty, attention-craving child. And here's a screenshot of me saying, I'll make this entire community burn as a hobby. The second time this was done by the FCK was done by Madlibs in the hit piece video that was released in September of 2020. This time using my DMs with Nezziemonster. Hence regather materials, the FCK. Yeah, we mentioned you because you were bothering one of us again. You mean Slammers, ? And now you're stalking all of us. I know it all. Stalking, no. Taking each of you down one by one? Yep, sure. Skeletons don't always stay in the closet. You really are pretentious, aren't you? Nope, just truthful. My info isn't as limited as you all think. I'll still talk to Silver, but you have fun with that. And the fact that you've taken part in such a toxic group and done nothing. Guess how that's gonna look. A little bit of fun fact, but that was foreshadowing of the FCK because I had an idea as to what was going on through testimony and from Ben the Looney as to what the FCK server was like. So that's what I was referring to and suggesting to in the DMs with Nezziemonster. To summarize this most likely impending tactic, instead of addressing the FCK in an honest way, Lio is going to shift the topic to me and my DMs from 2020, citing those DMs and me being an angry 16-year-old, angry with the people who were doing a smear campaign on me for a year, falsely accusing me to hundreds of thousands of people, and taking the fact that I said I'm going to make this entire community burn as a hobby, or that I'm taking them down one by one, and saying that represents my intentions now, and that I'm purely just trying to take these people down out of some petty vendetta to get revenge, and therefore my intentions are bad faith and I'm not credible. It's an attack at my credibility and my intentions, just as he did in the February 28th Senate call.
And I'm going to, of course, have to address the FCK stuff because, let's be honest, what's going on about that is horrifically wrong and is egregious, and I will not let people get away with doing that.
Would you count it as malicious intent as well?
Without question. Without question, it's malicious.
Because that's what Lio does best. When he can't actually respond to what you're saying, he does what is called character assassination, or saying that you have bad intentions and bringing up other shit to change the focus of the conversation. And again, take this with a grain of salt. This is just word of mouth, but I do trust my sources, and I wouldn't be surprised if he would do this. Again, this is not out of the norm for him. He did the same thing in the February 28th Senate call talking about intentions, and this fits that perfectly one-to-one as an opportunity for him to try and talk about my intentions. Now, it would be really stupid of Lio to do this, considering the DMs that he had with Just a Robot on February 23rd, so not that long ago, where he was talking about how I was a scumbag and that he would rip me in half the second he got the chance, which is a bit more edgier and pretentious than I was at 16. Another prediction with the information I've been given is that they'll be painting Nezziemonster a victim to my grand harassment throughout the 4 years since 2020. The same trick the FCK tried in the Madlibs video, and the same trick Nezziemonster tried in the Senate call to avoid any issue that I actually had with her. So I'll go over over all of the things from then till now that they used to say is my harassment towards Nezziemonster. For starters, what kicked this entire thing off was Nezziemonster and Ponder Sprocket making a two-part collab on my Slumers video. In their video, they repeatedly falsely accused me of attempted doxing of Slumers.
So, you didn't technically attempt to dox anybody. You were just asking if there was somebody out there who could dox her for you.
And the contradiction will come up a little bit later, but it has to do with him making note that someone out there should be able to answer his question and provide Slumers' private information to him.
Which is basically him not committing the crime, but asking someone to do it for him. Which doesn't make you innocent, my guy. Also, I'm not surprised these people thought that. You don't ask for someone's personal information on a public fucking forum. That's what we call being suspicious.
Oh yeah, by the way, if anyone has the personal info of that minor who was being harassed by a larger YouTuber, hit me up. Which is hilarious considering his bias against Slumers is very apparent from him openly harassing her and asking other people to send him her private information.
Accused me of deleting several tweets to hide my actions, almost all of which I never even fucking deleted. This was followed by Fuchsia Butter, another FCK member, making a video on me and repeating much of that, along with this.
Madame did technically kinda steal the art and not credit Slimmers after that was part of their agreement, and then publicly harassed and abused her verbally in a video. And talking about someone who is such an indescribable asshole that they've caused me physical discomfort just by things they've said and the fact that they still breathe. So, I will do my best to explain why I despise this low-life cum chalice of a person. How do I describe this utter waste of space? That's how much of a shrimp-dicked fucknugget he is. Akumu is literally some of the lowest scum on the earth. Disgusting bastard. You disgusting piece of shit. In the most homey way possible, choke on my transsexual pink pube dick, you spineless, honorless shit puppet. So consider this me smashing the scale and obliterating you with everything I've got. Because personally, after all this stuff I've read, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about your joke of a channel. And I certainly don't give a fuck about your compensating ego. Regardless of the outcome, I'm keeping comments enabled on this video. Unlike you, I can handle the quote-unquote rush of comments, as you call them. That's a creative way of saying valid criticism, dumbass. Not that it matters, since you disabled the comments like a pussy. Not everyone is as fucking blindly stupid as you are. You gotta be an absolute fucking moron. You should feel ashamed for being such a failure that you lack even the most basic empathy for one's mental health. You disgusting bottom-feeding goblin.
And then along came Mad Libs doing the same thing with an even bigger video that I just referenced a moment ago. I first made fun of and argued with Nezziemonster on Twitter. This is around March after Nezziemonster released the collab with Ponder Sprocket. I also joined a live stream with Toby and Nezziemonster, though I didn't spam the chat. I was banned from it by the name's Junkie. I did join a Twitch livestream chat at one point in 2020. Claims I've done this more than once, but I only really own one Twitch account with any sort of name similar to my own. The other that I own, I haven't used in 5 years and haven't signed into. Perhaps someone pretended to be me. I messaged Nezziemonster on Discord on August 24th of 2020, giving her several screenshots to clear up a false sexual harassment accusation that she made against a friend of mine at the time. I would later tweet to Nezziemonster, tagging her again in August-September issue of 2020, talking about the accusation because she backpedaled on it. Nezziemonster then only gave Madlib 6 screenshots out of the 15 or 16 I sent her in August of 2020. And then the FCK released the large Madlibs video on September 29th.
Now we're going to move on to Nezziemonster. Now, she didn't actually want to be in this video in person, but I'm still going to be talking about her experience with this kid regardless, because it's probably the worst of them all. Now, obviously, this all started when she and Ponder Sprocket released a 2-hour collab ripping his Slimmers video and harassment of her to absolute shreds. And he, of course, responded to the video in both a comment and a sloppy, hastily made video that came out about a week after theirs. After that, it was apparently all well and good. He only DM'd Nezzie a couple times to ask how is that L, as she's told me in voice chats. These conversations have since been deleted because she's blocked him because she no longer wants to deal with his harassment. He also probably bugged her on his old Twitter accounts, but those accounts have been suspended because he breaks the rules all the time. While all that may have been deleted, I'm sure it was just typical Akumu spamming. What hasn't been deleted, however, is his most recent little tantrum he's throwing at Nezzie, one that has been going on for about a month now. And guess what he's doing now?
In it, they claimed that I was behind Sherman or Surebase trying to get into Nezziemonster's PayPal account, despite the fact that Nezziemonster and Doodletones both knew that Sherman had an issue with Nezziemonster before I ever spoke with him, because Nezzie associated with Doodletones. This is from the FCK server back in March of 2020. Afterwards, I publicly discussed the sexual harassment accusation and its flaws, to which Nezzie released a twit longer on January 1st of 2021 lying about it, proclaiming that I withheld the screenshot from her when it was her who withheld it from Madlibs. Someone replied to her with a recording of our DMs, and then she changed her story, saying I only sent her one screenshot that was cropped. Her excuse for this is that she apparently was confusing it for another screenshot, which makes no fucking sense because she's replying to a recording of our fucking DMs. She could see in this recording that I sent her several screenshots, including the main one. The next interactions we've had since 2021 have been few and far in between, either prompted by me bringing up that she lied about the sexual harassment accusation in hopes that she'd be honest about it, or others bringing it up and me noticing. One of the times that I spoke about her lies, I messaged her on Twitter before uploading my video, letting her know she had a limited amount of time to tell the truth about it before the video was up. In fact, I've made a video explaining that entire thing in every single instance to do with this situation. They'll be linked down below. In 2023, with the help of Lio Convoy, I got the Senate call with Nezziemonster, Doodles coming along as sidekick. That call will also be linked down below, because Nezziemonster wasn't entirely honest there either, despite the heavy bias of Lio's server. I have had literally thousands of people accusing me of shit I never fucking did for 4 years on Twitter, YouTube.
Like, Pondo and Nezzie spoon-fed this shit to you, but apparently you're still gonna fucking double down on your disgusting bullshit, you obsessive, disgusting bullshit where you asked for a minor's docs information.
Discord and Twitch, on top of hate comments far worse than I've ever given to the FCK by hundreds of their fans, all thanks to Ponder Sprocket, Nezziemonster, and the FCK. So aside from the FCK and their narrative that was built throughout their various videos for a fucking year, them making fun of me and falsely accusing me in those videos, all when I was 16. Aside from that, I had people repeating those same claims to me in my comments, other comment sections, Twitter. I had people commenting telling me that I was a waste of space, that I was going to go nowhere, that I would never be able to get a job, that no one would ever listen to me. I've seen what people have said about me in other art hug boxes, talking about me. I remember one guy wrote an entire paragraph about how I was some entity worse than Satan that made babies cry blood. That was, I think, in Fuchsia Butter's Discord server. In fact, because of the false doxing accusation that Nezziemonster, Ponder Sprocket, and Madlibs peddled to the audience, Carmen Ryder, Lovely Lena, and Communist Creeper were in a group chat, fantasizing in the idea of me being dragged out of my home by the police because doxing is illegal, or supposedly, being beaten by the police in front of my parents. I have a call recorded with Carmen Ryder talking about this. In fact, I think I have the group chat somewhere on my computer. I can't find it, but I know that it happened. So the point that I'm making here is, I was 16 and 17 dealing with all of that. You don't see me calling that harassment or crying about it, though. Yet one of the people responsible for that, Nezziemonster, insists my mean comments to her and me bringing up what she actually did do is harassment. How rich. I was one person versus an entire community. Just to add to my point, not too long ago, Nezziemonster got suicidal because people were upset about the fact they knew there were minors in the FCK server and yet kept quiet about that for years. Something they actually did do in comparison to the false accusations thrown at me. They gave no fucks about making fun of me and smearing me and how their audience would react to that. Yet when the audience is reacting to this and daring to be upset with them for what they literally fucking did, dear God, it's the end of the fucking world. I'm trying to ruin her life. That's the irony of it. Lio, Doodles, and Nezziemonster are also apparently planning to use the audience's reaction and even possible hate towards the FCK members to further victimize themselves and give themselves a more sympathetic look in the eyes of the audience. Which ties back into what I just said. That didn't matter when they were falsely accusing me. I was a minor at the time, but some mean comments from people upset over what they did when they're adults is the end of the fucking world. all over shit that they literally fucking did, what several people have seen for themselves and been able to document themselves in the FCK server. There have always been batshit crazy people in this community. I've received death threats, I've seen all kinds of shit said about me. And I've received quite a few doxing threats over the years. Take, for example, this person saying they'd dox me if given the opportunity. That was only a couple of months ago. Or Demon Kuro, who wanted to dox me in 2020. Yet you don't see me using those comments to address the false doxing accusation to sympathy bait you all. I disproved it outright by breaking down the events and showing evidence contrary to it in my Ponder Part 1. It's because these people, Lio, Nezziemonster, and Doodles, can't disprove the evidence about the FCK, so they're resorting to this disingenuous, nonsensical pathos appeal to the audience. They can't stay on topic or just accept what the evidence shows and be done. They have to spin it in their favor and victimize themselves to something. Either bring up that you were groomed when it has nothing to do with this, or try to bring up what others have done, whether that be lying and over-exaggeration, such as this case. All to get sympathy. With how pissed that they are and desperate that they are, I'm telling you now, they won't be talking just about the FCK. They'll likely be making hit pieces on me, which I more than welcome. They're already off to a bad start with a heap of lies from Lio, and resorting to ArtCC and FCK tactics. Their playbook clearly hasn't changed in the slightest from 2020. So let's round to this shit and prove my series even further right about them and their fucking community. So to them specifically, keep feeding it with more of your deceit and disingenuous tactics so that more people can see you all for what you are. But either way, I wanted to make this video because I got a kick out of the fact that if Lio's going to do this, this is pretty fucking desperate. But also, I want you guys to put it on your bingo cards, because when he goes to do it, I'm just going to have this video here. I can just sample this video to show just how fucking predictable Lio is. I hope you guys get a kick out of this as much as I did when I was informed of this.